day. Today, our instructor is Mr. Michael Huggins. There's his name. This is a guy that's just fantastic. He is one of the pack members. He is one of the local leaders here in Team Elevate, sorry. He is an example in almost everything he does. He is such a good example of self-improvement, of changing the circumstances of our lives. If you've got someone, a friend, a relative, they don't like where they're at, there's no one better than Michael that can give them an example to improve their lives. We can use his story, each and every one of us, to introduce this concept to our guests. And he is here to teach us this morning. Michael, how are you?
Good morning, Mr. Heyer. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Money Monday. Let's get into this. All right. So, speaking of examples, I am just an example of following examples. That's what it comes down to. I am just an example of following examples. Okay, so let me share my screen here. All right. So here's what I want to talk about today is non-negotiable time. Non-negotiable time. Okay, so in our 168 hours that we have every week, right? We've got 168 hours. What are we doing with them? What is our breakdown of the 168 hours? And are we breaking it down intelligently and deliberately, or are we breaking it down haphazardly or by default? By the way, there's only 56 people on the line here. I know we enrolled a lot of people in the last week, so we need to have more people on this call. Be sure you're sharing the link here, guys. We had 80 people last week, 56 this week. We got to keep sharing because we have more people on the team. Okay, anyway, this 168 hours. What is your breakdown? How are you using this? Or are you using it like a millionaire? Well, I have a couple suggestions. This is kind of how I've broken mine down. Now, obviously, there's going to be more detail than what I'm going to give you guys, but this is the categories in which I break down my 168. So this will be pretty easy for you. All right, so first thing is on the list is 30 hours of playtime. Now, in the playtime, that includes, playing with your pets and going to, the movies and going to dinners and hanging out with friends and, getting dressed, that kind of stuff. 30 hours of play. If you don't have 30 hours of play scheduled into your week, maybe start with one and work your way up. But we definitely want to have some play into our schedule. Okay, the next thing we want to work with is, let's see here. I put in this is my suggestion to you, about 50 hours of sleep. That's a lot. That's 7 hours a night. 50 hours of sleep. If you're getting 7 hours every single night, you are a lucky human being. 50 hours of sleep. Okay, next is 20 hours of study. What are you studying? Studying your classes? You better be. You spent 20 grand on them. What else are you studying? You're studying health, you're studying communication, you're studying leadership, you're studying self-discipline, you're studying martial arts, you're studying English, you're studying Spanish. What are you studying? All right, are you studying marketing? Are you studying phone calls? Are you studying sales? What do you study? You're not just going to learn this shit by accident. You got to study. right? We could get into who do you study and what do you study and when and where do you study later on. I just want you to break out 20 hours of study. Now, that could just be an hour and a half a day in your car, right? Spend an hour and a half a day in your car listening, right? 45-minute trip each way. Listen, lots of listening. Then while you're at home, playing something in the background, more listening, more studying, right? Study, fit it into your life. Now notice, you still got 30 hours to play. What if you want to watch TV? That's fine, freaking watch TV, but study also. Okay, here is the next one. 10 hours to meditate. Now, when I say meditate, all I'm talking about is controlling your thoughts and emotions. Controlling your thoughts and emotions. Right? Napoleon Hill wrote a book called The Laws of Success, and in there he said, you are handed 2 envelopes at birth. One is all the rewards and all the blessings and every fun thing you get to do in your life if you take control of your thoughts. Then he said, you also get handed another envelope with its contents where you're doomed to suffer these things if you do not take control of your thoughts and emotions. Right? And so it has everything to do with taking control. We think, I don't know if you guys knew this, but there are 86,400 seconds in a day total, right? And we think about 60,000 thoughts a day. That's a lot of thinking. Well, that's a lot of thoughts to have, but are you thinking them on purpose? If you're not thinking them on purpose, then this is where you get into wasted time, wasted energy, wasted effort, wasted talent, wasted resources. This meditation is, you don't have to twist yourself up into a pretzel and do this, right? You could just meditate just sitting on whatever chair you're sitting on. And just be thinking about what you want to be thinking about. You want to be thinking about growing your business and building relationships, right? You want to be thinking about your real estate. You want to be thinking about your family and your leadership. Meditate. It will actually add to your study, your sleep, and your play if you meditate more. Okay? Meditate has nothing to do with converting to a certain way of life or anything like that. All I'm saying is if you don't meditate, you're going to have a wandering mind, and that wandering mind is not going to help you with study, with sleep, or with play. All right, and somehow we get people scribbling on the screen. That's all right. It's a team effort. Thank you for clearing that off. Okay, now the last one. How many hours do we have left over? We started with 168. We've been playing for 30. We've been sleeping for 50. We've been studying for 10 or 20. We've been meditating for 10. What's left over? We have 58 hours left over for economics. Economics. We have 58 hours left over for our economics. Now, some people will choose for their economics to take their hours to the marketplace and sell those 58 hours for dollars per hour. And then they can calculate how much money they'll make that year, and then they'll be depressed. Just kidding. But if you do just have one job and that's your only source of income, you're on fixed income, and we need something to change. 58 hours of economics. So if you have a job, okay, then obviously that's going to take up 40 of those, or maybe if you had a part-time job, 25 or 30 of those 58 hours. But if you don't have a job, then 58 hours of economics per week, if you are studying and meditating and playing enough, 58 hours could turn into you being a multimillionaire in a few years. 58 hours of economics. Now, when I say economics, that means the work that you do in the economy for money, for an exchange of money, knowledge, relationships, resources, but mostly the economic resources is what we're looking for. So, this is an easy blueprint. 168, 30, 50, 20, 10, 58. That's easy. This is easy. Right? And in our economics, in this business, our economics are easy. Find the people, tell the story, build for events, and continuous follow-up. Those are our economic activities in this business. Now, some of you guys are confronted with challenging schedules. I know I've oversimplified this for some people, right? You got kids and another job and daycare and this and that and this and that and all these other things. Yes, I get it. I get it. You just sleep less. You just sleep less and maybe you play a little bit less. But you don't cut into economics, because if you cut into economics, how are you going to get ahead? Right? You can save up a bunch of money, but you can't save up a bunch of sleep. Right? You can't be like, well, if I sleep really hard for the next 3 weeks, then I could go another month without sleep. No, it doesn't work like that. Only money does that. I save up a bunch of money these 3 weeks, then I don't have to go and earn it next month. You could do that with money, but not with sleep. So if you're needing money, you need money, right? Like, people are knocking on your door saying, hey, rent's due, bills are due, things are late, money, money, money. Then why on earth are you watching TV? Why on earth are you playing on Facebook? Why are you doing things that don't make you money when you need money the most? Okay, so speaking economically, money is a top priority. Okay, when we switch over to play, money doesn't matter. Money only matters in economics. Money doesn't matter when you sleep, and money doesn't matter when you're studying. Money only matters in economics. Okay, so this is a class, this is a webinar, this is a team effort for improving economics. But if I leave out this play, sleep, study, meditate stuff, and we only talk about economics, then you're not going to have as good results in the economy as if we remind you, if you play enough, you'll make more money. Did you know that? If you play enough, you'll make more money? I didn't know that. I thought it was a facetious statement. I thought people just said that because it was nice to say, and for people so that you get back to work. But no, it's serious. If you play more, you smile more, you have more happy chemicals going on in your mind, right? Endorphins and serotonin just from playing and smiling more. It's going to make you more attractive. It's going to actually make you sleep less so that you can put more time into your economics. 30 hours of play. That's family time, it's self time, it's goof off time, it's nap time, it's shopping time. Okay. 58 hours of economics. Let's find the people, tell a story, build for events, and follow up. Okay, so now in our calendar, when we are breaking down our calendar and we're saying this is what we're doing, actually, let me see if I can share my screen better. Time to draw something. Okay, so hopefully you guys feel some relief around this idea that play is mandatory. Okay, now some of you may be only 10 hours a week because you're really behind in economics. Maybe some of you are super ahead in the economic department and you're going to play more. That's fine. Each person's different. But you got to play some. All right, I'm just pulling up my whiteboard here. Okay, switch. Stopping share, switching. iPad. AirPlay. Boom. All right, we got a chat. We got a question. What's up here? Who's chatting? Eloy, continuous follow-up. That's the name of the game. Okay, here we go. Now I can share. Sharing. Whiteboard. All right, well, while we're looking at this and I'm getting this thing loaded, does anyone have any questions about the schedule and what I'm talking about so far? Pretty easy so far. You guys picking up what I'm putting down? All right. Share. Whiteboard. Share. Waiting. Waiting. Sharing. You guys think maybe I've run a webinar before? There we go. We did it. All right, this is how you fund someone's UGA payment. But we're not talking about that today. Today, we're going to talk about how to defend your schedule. We must defend our schedule. So in this non-negotiable economics time, right, what are we talking about when we say non-negotiable? We mean yes, Joshua, I do track it. I track it by creating it up front instead of looking back on Saturday and going, how did I go with my 168? On Sundays, I just decide how it's going to go. And then my tracking is more, did I do it? Okay. So I just learned about this really cool apparatus. Okay. Oh yeah, we got one of those too. Okay. So non-negotiable work time. Right? When I tell people I don't have a job, they're like, what? You don't have a job? I'm like, yeah, but I still work. I still work. I just don't have a job. I work for myself. Right? Still work. We're still working, baby. You cannot get along in this world without work. Okay? Still got to work. But in this non-negotiable time, we can still build in a lot of fun, a lot of play, a lot of things. Okay, I'm going to turn my brightness down just a little bit. Okay, there we go. Okay, non-negotiable time. So some of you, last week, right, when we got Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Okay, and we know what we're doing most of the time, right? We know what we're doing most of the time. All right, we got a webinar in the morning, right? Sharpening our skills. This could be considered studying or it could be considered play. And sometimes you can do both at the same time. Okay, we got our webinars in the morning. And then depending on what city you're in, maybe if you're in Seattle, you have an epic. If you're in Denver or Vegas, you have an epic. All right, if you're in Salt Lake, you have an epic. Okay, so we got epics in the evening. All right, and then we have, depending on what city you're in, you might go to a follow-up here, a follow-up here. You might go to a follow-up here or a follow-up here. And we got options for follow-ups. If you're in Salt Lake City, we have an epic at the house tour and a follow-up going on at the same damn time. Right? Some of you guys are wondering, well, how come Salt Lake City is getting ahead? It's because we have epic follow-up, follow-up, epic follow-up, 3 days in a row. So people are making money doing that stuff. Okay, now, some of you decided, like in your city, maybe only Wednesday is available in your city. Maybe that's it. And so sometimes when we don't understand and we haven't made this commitment of non-negotiable time, sometimes if there's a fancy holiday of some sort, we decide, oh, do you know what? I'm not going to go to the Epic that night. I'm going to do this holiday thing, and I'm not going to tell anybody, and they're just going to go to the meeting and wonder where I'm at. Why do we do that? What is the point of that? Well, I hear it from Bob Snyder all the time. Bob Snyder says, celebrate the occasion, not the date. Think about it. If you took your business seriously, if you took this thing seriously and then someone was like, hey, let's not go to the Epic or the Fall tonight. Let's go see a movie. You'd be like, what? No. Movies are already on the schedule, right? If we have 168, right? 50 sleep, 30 play. Now we already have movies on the schedule, right? That includes movies. That includes dinners and date nights and shopping and all that. That's already in there. If we have 58 hours of our economics, we're not going to trade this one for this one unless we're already rich. If you're still needing to make money, don't trade play for economics. Just move. If the schedule is challenging, right? If the schedule is conflicting, what do I do? Do I do play or do I do work? Move the play. Move the play to somewhere else. Move the play to over here or to over here, right? Move the play somewhere else. But with your work, I don't know. This is just me thinking like, okay, how many people skipped out on their Wednesday meeting last week because of Valentine's Day, right? And then because you were being very typical by doing something on Valentine's Day, you went and stood in a bunch of long lines and slow restaurants and crowded movie theaters and crowded malls and got stuck in night traffic, right? Like, don't be typical, man. Don't be typical. Typical people hate their jobs and hate their schedule, and one night a year is the only time that they're romantic with their person. Come on, don't be typical. We still had a kick-ass meeting in Wednesday in Denver, but there were still a lot of people missing, and it's because they don't understand this concept. Celebrate the occasion, not the date, right? What if your birthday's on a Wednesday or a Thursday? You got an epic night and it's your birthday. What are you going to do? Well, if you're serious about this business and you're serious about teaching and training people and making money and creating the difference, then just go to the frickin' Epic on your birthday. Guess what I'm doing? That's when I'm doing it, right? Calendar. Look at this calendar. So my birthday is on a Saturday, April 7th. Birthday's on a Saturday. Do you think I'm going to go sit at home and drink some hot cocoa and not do anything? Of course not. Whatever city I'm in, I'm doing something, right? Well, what about last year, Michael? What about 2017? My birthday was on a Friday. Guess what? April 7th, I was at a follow-up. I went to the group follow-up. Well, what about 2016, Michael? Well, let's look at it. Oh, my goodness, it was on a Thursday, and guess what I did? I was at the Arizona Epic that Thursday. I remember that year. I was at the Epic. That's my birthday. Well, Michael, what about Wednesday, Tuesday? Yes, I go to all the meetings. In 2015, my birthday was not on a meeting week. Wow, okay, so I didn't go to one. But you see what I mean? I celebrated and I did my birthday celebration stuff later when I was in control, when it wasn't conflicting with making money, when it wasn't conflicting with leading by example and growing the team. Right? If you had a bunch of leads, at this meeting, right? Let's say you had 5 guests because you were doing your job on Monday and Tuesday and Wednesday, right? You had call time on these days. If you were making calls and you had 5 guests there, you wouldn't say, hey, honey, sorry, we're going to go eat some lobster instead of make 50 grand. She'll be like, no, go make the 50 grand. We'll have lobster later. But because you didn't do any work here, you didn't put any guests in the room, you planned on not going, you only spent money that week. You didn't make any money that week. Well, guess what? This is going to be a continuous observation you have to make with your calendar and with different things coming up. This is only February, right? We're going to have St. Patrick's Day, and then we got something in the spring and something in the, right? We got a holiday every freaking month. Don't celebrate the occasion or the date. Celebrate the occasion, right? February 22nd. Oh, this is 2018. February 22nd, that's a Thursday. Well, that's a holiday in my world where I come from, but it's also on a Thursday, so I'm going to the meeting. March 22nd through 24th, we got our intensive or our nationals coming up. Okay, that's going to be exciting stuff. But the key is don't let America try to determine what you're doing with your time. 9% battery. Yes, Brett, we're going to make it. Don't worry. Austin was there on his birthday too. Good. And Austin's making money. Now, I'm not saying put money at the top of the list. Okay? That's not what I'm saying. And I hope you're getting that because I talked about this other list here of how we're spending our time, right? 10, meditate. But in economics, if you've got it dialed in, cool. If not, don't sacrifice economics for play. That just doesn't make any sense. If play is already built in, it's already built in. This is good news. But if you notice, it's almost 2-to-1. Play to work, play to work, play to work. You can still play, but you've got to work twice as much until you've worked smart enough on a business that can pay you for life. AKA real estate, baby. We're almost there. Some of you guys are super close to retiring, and some of you guys, this is your first meeting, and you're like, man, Michael likes rainbows, and he likes to yell at people. I don't like to yell at people. I just am passionate about making sure that people aren't sacrificing a good thing for a mediocre thing. It confuses me all the time. Why are you sacrificing a good thing for a mediocre thing? Okay, so non-negotiable. Non-negotiable. So I set aside at least, for making calls, let's say, just for calls. It's call time. Do you guys remember the definition of pay time? Pay time only comes from two things. It comes from being on the phone or in front of prospects. Pay time is on the phone or in front of prospects. So if you're making phone calls and you're earning your pay time, and then someone's like, hey, let's go get some cheesecake, and you go, well, hold on a sec. This is pay time. Cheesecake time is after pay time. Non-negotiable time. So here's what I suggest. You make Mondays and Tuesdays call days. These should be call days because when they start to show up, right? So we got Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. So on these days, if you're doing calls, then you have your epic here, depending on what city you're in, or your epic here. So if you've made your calls on Mondays and Tuesdays, then you're just feeding them into these events. Then all you got to do on Wednesday is a text reminder or an email reminder. Hey, looking forward to seeing you. Remember, it's business dress, business casual, whatever your office is doing. Just a friendly little reminder text. Right? But if you make your calls from here to here and you're only doing this part-time, then this is still a $10,000 a month schedule. $10,000 a month schedule, only making calls, right? 2 to 3 hours here, 2 to 3 hours here, and then you're at the Epic for 2 to 3 hours, 2 to 3 hours, right? So you're really working maybe part-time, this schedule 15 hours a week, right? Maybe you'll schedule a one-on-one on a Friday, right? This is about a 15-hour a week schedule. This is not heavy on the schedule. This is assuming you got a day job. If you don't have a day job, then just fill up your time with more productivity. Go to meetups, go to Toastmasters, make more calls, buy more leads, make more videos, right? Invent a system, work with your local leadership. Say, what can I spend my time on? But non-negotiable time, I am suggesting that you make call for Monday night, Tuesday night, Wednesday night, Thursday, or depending on what Epic night you have, and one of those nights. Non-negotiable. You just say, hey, that's it. This is what I'm doing. Don't ask for me to do something else. This is what I'm doing. So when you guys are looking at this, you're thinking, what are you thinking? Because I remember when I had people lay this schedule out for me, because I was like, all right, when I quit my job, what am I going to be doing all day? And they're like, well, just remember, never miss, never miss, never miss on these Thursdays. And I was like, well, who cares? I don't have a job anymore. Why do I need to care about not missing? And then I realized, okay, if I'm only working one day a week, all right, I'm going to make it non-negotiable. This one day a week could seriously make you $10,000 a week, right? You get one customer to sign up each week. That's $10,000 a week. So if someone tries to impede on that and say, hey, Thursday night's guys' night, we're going bowling, you say, tough shit, man, I got something to do. I'll do it Friday or I'll do it Saturday. Excuse me. But because you don't look at this schedule as a potential $10,000 a week schedule, you let other things infringe upon it. You let other things take up that precious time. Like some of you are like, well, some of you, I'm going to make fun of you, and I think you'll be okay with it because you'll see how accurate it is. But some of you don't have a job anymore. You've made enough money from marketing and from doing your real estate that you don't have a job anymore, right? So throughout the week, you're just doing your thing. And all of a sudden, here comes Thursday. Here comes an Epic. Here it is. Not all of a sudden. You knew it was happening. But for you, you act like, oh, crap, it's already Thursday. And then what got you out of your job was putting guests in this event. That's what got you out of your job. But then you stopped doing it. You stop putting guests in the event and you stop going and you justify it because you're like, well, I was working on real estate all week. I was at this fix and flip all week. I was analyzing all these deals all week. And it just encroached into my schedule and sorry, I couldn't make it. Well, if you stopped doing the thing that got you out of your job, wouldn't you then potentially have to go back and get a job? You see what I mean? Don't let your real estate compete with the marketing. Your real estate should complement, that's the word, complement marketing. Not real estate compete with marketing. That's too silly. Why doesn't it complement? While you're out there making $100,000 on your property, you should make $100,000 in marketing. It's the same freaking thing, but it should be complementing the Epic, right? So you're like, well, I just got to wrap up this deal. Okay, well, wrap it up. What are you going to do Thursday night from 7 to 9 on your deal? Honestly, not much. But you justify it and you say, well, I'm not going to go. I'm not going to go because I don't have any guests. Well, why? This is a $10,000 a week business. Why don't you have any guests? Well, you know why you didn't have any guests is because you justified, I don't need to do call time here and here because I'm doing real estate. I'm too cool doing my real estate that, you know, this real estate's going to make me 50 grand and now I don't have to make a phone call. And then people think, oh, well, that's cool. I'll just do real estate. But then your project goes long, goes over budget. You got to dip into money and it goes 2 months too long. Now what? You still need money. If you have never let the gas off of this, you kept building into your epics. If you never would have let the gas off of here, you would still have plenty of money. Let's say your budget went over 20 grand. Doesn't matter if you're making 10 grand a week and you're like, oh crap, a pipe burst. We need to redo the wiring. We need to do this, that. All of that. If that would have happened, a 20 grand budget would have gone over, you'd be fine because you make 10 grand a week doing marketing. If you keep this in the forefront of your mind, Mondays and Tuesdays call time, feed into the epics, whatever epic time you have. Right in Seattle, it's short. Because Tuesday's the epic. So we got call day all day on Mondays. Right now, if we can't connect with them on Tuesday in Seattle, then we send them to the Tacoma meeting on Thursday, which is fine. That gives us more time to build for it. But the key is don't justify that you don't have to put this time and effort in. It's going to hurt you long term. Okay, because if you don't do these necessary steps and you get your pipeline full and feeding into these, and then all of a sudden all your bills are due, you're going to go, oh crap, you're going to go back to a job, you're going to go back to the old ways, and then you're going to justify, well, I don't have time to put into my marketing business, I got this job. So I'm trying to share all this with you because I've seen this happen too many times where people forget about non-negotiable pay time. Okay? This is non-negotiable. And if you just defend it, then you can always have pay time. But when you let things encroach on it, like working on your real estate is not pay time. Don't even freaking lie to me. You are not on the phone or in front of a prospect while you're working on your real estate, right? You're hauling out trash. You're analyzing deals. You're reading market stuff. You're looking at property, but you're not on the phone or in front of a prospect, so it's not pay time. So you're trading study time for economics. Again, this is not going to lead to a plan where you can pay your bills. So focus on pay time. A couple hours a week, totally worth it. If you need help on the phones, then ask for help, but that shouldn't be a reason why you don't do it. And some of you are going to go, well, Michael, I can already hear you. Well, Michael, you're lucky because your spouse is in the business, right? I know some of you guys are saying that right now. You're rolling your eyes. You're going, yeah, Michael, this would just be easy. It's easy for you to say because your spouse is in the business. Well, guess what, ladies and gentlemen? Vanessa did not give a crap about this business as far as working in it for almost 3 years. 3 years she was doing her own thing, right? She's doing her own thing. That's fine. That's what people do. They do their own thing. So if I kept saying, well, I can't be successful until Vanessa's on board with this, do you think she'd ever be on board with this? You guys sitting there going, well, if my wife doesn't support me, well, duh, she doesn't support you because you don't have non-negotiable pay time built into your schedule. You let whimsical ideas and different events let you just decide, I'm not going to work it. I'm not going to work it. And then you don't work it. Then you don't make any money. And then your spouse goes, see, you're not making any money. So if you stick with non-negotiable pay time, whether your spouse likes it or not, when you start making this kind of money, guess what? They're going to like it. Okay? You just got to keep it in perspective. Stay working on it. If it's non-negotiable and it's reliable, then you will get backing by your spouse, by your family members. You'll get backing by it. But because you keep dropping off, you keep justifying, you keep not showing up, and then when you're like, well, but I got to get back on this, they're like, why? You're not doing anything with it. And then you get resistance from your family. Well, I'll tell you, I worked it regardless of Vanessa's support or not, right? Whether she supported me with just mentally supporting me or actually working in the business and supporting me, I showed her that I was going to do it no matter what. And then when she saw me struggling and doing it at the same time, then she went, oh, honey, let me help you. There are so many things you don't know. And she started helping me with PowerPoints and organization and stuff like that. But it wasn't for a long time until I got her to come to meetings every week. It was years and years. So some of you keep thinking, well, if my spouse supported me, I'd be successful. No, that's not how it works. If you act like a success in this business, your spouse will start to support you. That's it. That's how you act like a success. 2 to 3 hours of contacts twice a week and 2 to 3 hours of an epic meeting once a week at least. But some of you guys want to be more productive, go to more. But that's it. That's the schedule. That's the flow. That's what creates success. When you create that success, you're going to get more support. But if you keep hoping for support first, it's not going to work. That's not how anything in this planet has worked. Anyone who's invented anything, created something, you know, they made it first and then the support came. You got this, guys. This is your world. This is your life. You're in control of it. There's plenty of time to goof around and play as long as we protect the pay time, right? If you're at your job and I call you, think about this. You're at your W-2 and I call you and I say, hey, let's go to lunch. And you're like, I can't. I'm at my job. See, you defend that. You defend that no matter what, right? You will not take time off of work to go do something in the middle of the day. You defend and defend and defend. Yeah, one night a week we ask you, hey, show up to the meeting, bring a guest, and you can't even defend that. See the contradiction there? There's a contradiction there. You'll defend some pay time, but not the other. So does that mean you want to keep your job? See what I mean? This is dangerous stuff if you're not paying attention to what you're defending. Observations Michael has made of his team in the last 7 years. Cool, Linda. I'm glad this helped. I'm glad you were here. Speaking of which, Linda, I have a customer for you to talk to, so I'm going to call you later. I'm going to do a 3-way call. This is lady. She's brand new to real estate. She just got her real estate license. Now she's considering doing investing, and I thought of you. So I told her your story, and I'm going to connect her with you. Cool. All right, Brett Hansen just had an aha moment. He says, it makes sense finally. I defend my work time fiercely, but not my Renatus events time. Thanks, Michael. Some of us are slow to catch on. It's all good, Brett. You keep showing up. We're here for you. Doesn't matter how long it takes. We're still going to be here. That's right. Pay time equals playtime. See, we can have both. We can have both. That's right. It's whatever you put your energy into, Joe. You put your energy into your job, you get to keep your job. You put more energy into this Renatus business, it's going to pay you more than your job, and you can keep that. What side of this equation do you want to get in on? Okay, well, if this is your first week, this is a full dose right here. And for all of you guys coming back week after week, I'm here for you. Ron is here for you. The whole Elevate leadership team, the Renatus leadership team. If you just ask for help, you will get it. I promise. You just have to ask. You got to ask intelligently, and you will get all the help you can handle. Okay? Teamwork makes the dream work. Thanks for tuning in, guys. Thanks for taking this thing seriously. And we'll see you guys tomorrow morning. And every morning, Monday through Thursday, we're here for you. Okay, talk to you guys soon. Rock and roll.